Hello, Facebook world. Welcome to the 39.6 episode, 39.6 live Facebook blog show, episode number 6. Sorry, I've been trying to do these every day for the past week and a half. However, I've been traveling and I've had very poor internet, and I usually do this from a computer, but I'm having to do this one directly from my phone because even the Wi-Fi is a little patchy here. I'm coming to you live from Montreal, Canada, in an Airbnb, and today we're going to be talking about our Airbnb. A lot of people ask me all the time, you know, you do an Airbnb, is it worth it? And so I'm going to give you the numbers, but ultimately, this is not the most scalable business for me, and I'd like to invest as passively as possible, but we do okay with our Airbnb, which we homestead. Okay, so currently we are in Montreal, Canada at an Airbnb, and we're on vacation. We went to Toronto for the past couple of days. I was trying to say hi to somebody. We were in Toronto for a couple of days. We are now in Montreal, and then we will be going to Quebec City for the weekend. And so we're actually on a short vacation slash Airbnb tour. Part of continuing to try to improve our Airbnb is to go to other Airbnbs that are performing very well. So we find very high performing Airbnbs in different cities, and we look to see what they do so we can try to basically emulate that model. Every single time we go to another Airbnb, we learn something new, whether it be the way they contact you and send you information prior to arrival, or the way they have things set up in the kitchen or the bathroom, how they have their checkout and different things. And in Toronto, we actually stayed at our first Airbnb Plus, which is a new thing that Airbnb is rolling out. It's really geared more for like business people and people who want to select out higher quality Airbnbs with better experiences, a little bit easier check-ins and checkouts, and we tried that out in Toronto. They don't have it where we live yet, but we're hoping that we're going to have Airbnb Plus because we would love our unit to be included on Airbnb Plus. So hello to everybody who's been joining us so far. Do you wire those trips off as business expenses? We are doing this for market research, and we document everything we're doing. I take pictures of every place and the experiences we have. And here I am broadcasting from an Airbnb and talking about Airbnb. So this would be a legitimate business expense. So part of optimizing your finances is finding a way to be tax efficient, especially when you're at a very high tax bracket. And that's one of the things we like about Airbnb, because this is considered active income. This is not passive income, which means the losses we take on active income actually can be utilized to offset our ordinary income. So passive real estate doesn't do that for us, but we can do that with an Airbnb. I am sideways, really? It got switched. Okay, shoot. You cannot turn it while watching. Kate, am I sideways on your end? Are you trying? Okay. Sorry, I wish somebody had told me that. I initially started it sideways, okay, so.
It changed recently.
Is it working now?
It's back to normal.
Is it back to normal? Okay, thank you. This is the first time I'm trying to do this from my phone, and it's a little interesting the way it works. Okay, so I hope everybody can see me now. We are in this Airbnb. The Wi-Fi here is shoddy. I'm using my cell phone and trying to get the lighting to show up nicely. But you can see the loft actually here. It's pretty cool. We're in downtown old Montreal in these old buildings. We had to lug luggage up to the 3rd floor, but the place is awesome. And we're paying about $150 a night for a 1-bedroom. Well, it's just a loft, so there's no actual bedroom. It's my wife, me, and our baby. And our baby, they don't have pack and plays up here in Canada, so we actually have this thing for our dog. So it collapses completely flat. It fits in your luggage. And we use it as a little portable pack and play. It's fantastic for our 1-year and 2-day-old. All right. So again, people often want to ask us about our Airbnb. This is our homestead, and we usually only rent it out on the weekends. But for the summer, we have been renting it out all summer long for the most part. And so for the whole month of July, we actually got one booking for the whole month. And so I'm going to run through some of these numbers. And people always ask, where do you stay when your Airbnb is booked up? So we actually have an apartment a few miles away, which we really like. It's got a pool. And so in the summertime, it's fantastic. All right. So the month of July, we got a 33-day booking, actually from July 1 until August 3. And that was booked for $10,800. This is a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 3,700 square foot house in a very nice part of DFW. So it commands high rent. So yeah, 10,800. Actually, it was 11,000 plus for 33 days, but for the month of July, it comes out to being 10,800. So I prorated it for the 31 days of July, and the total rent was 10,800. Now you have to pay Airbnb their commission, and Airbnb holds the hotel tax for us now in Texas, which is 15%. So the Airbnb commission is 3%, so it ends up being $280, which I think is a very fair commission because it opens you up to a huge amount of people who are interested, and we otherwise would not be able to readily get bookings. So Airbnb and VRBO is what we utilize. So $280 was the commission to Airbnb, so they made a good commission on this. We have to pay the 15% hotel tax, so that's $1,400. So that's about $1,700 off the bat. Okay, so that's like $9,000 left. We pay property tax, and those rates are high in Texas. So that was actually $1,400. Okay, so that brings us down to about $7,600 left. And so after that, though, the actual expenses, property insurance, $200. Electricity, about $150 for the month of July. It's been about 100 degrees. So the electricity bill is going to be a lot higher for July. We expect that. And it is every summer. But this is definitely the hottest summer since we've moved to Dallas. Wow, a lot of people here. Welcome to everybody coming. So electricity, I said $150. Cable and internet, we also pay for HBO and Netflix, which we have on all of the bedroom televisions. That's my little baby coughing a little bit. That's $150. Water, trash, recycling, and gas, about $100 a month. And we only had one booking for the whole month, so we only paid for our housekeeper once. So that was $120. She's amazing. She does the whole house in 4 hours for 8 beds and 3,700 square feet. It's amazing. She does this whole place so well and so quickly. And that's really about it. So our total expenses, now this is not including the mortgage because that's not considered really an expense when you're analyzing your property from a real estate perspective, from an investor perspective. You always want to analyze a property based on if you have no debt. Okay, so the total expenses, $3,800, and the total rent was $10,800. Okay, so the difference between those two numbers, 10,800 and 3,800, is $7,000. So that's what you call your net operating income. Okay, so $7,000 gap there. Now we do have to pay our mortgage, which is about $5,000. Okay, and about $1,400 of that is principal. Okay, so that's paying down the property. But minus $5,000, that means we're cash flowing about $2,000 for the month of July. That's even with having the mortgage. And we actually only put 5% down on this property. So we are leveraged a lot, which you always want to limit how much leverage you take. This is a very safe property because we can rent it out long term at around $7,000 a month as the standard monthly rent, pretty comfortably because it's a very in-demand area due to the schools. Okay, so we have a mortgage of about $5,000 a month, and so we're cash flowing $2,000. Okay, now the $2,000 cash flow is all the extra cash for the month. Now they are paying down the mortgage of $1,400 a month. So you're earning a return of both the cash flow plus the mortgage of a total of about $3,400. That's per month. That's pretty good money for having one property for 1 month. I mean, when I was in training, that was like my take-home pay for an entire month. And our rental property generated that much net worth for us in 1 month, very tax efficiently. Okay, so we will have to pay tax on this income. However, because we can depreciate it, that depreciation comes off of our income, and we can write off the mortgage interest. And so we end up having only about $1,800 of taxable income. Now, we can then throw in other expenses that we associate with our Airbnb to help bring that down. Okay, so for example, we have a property management company that we can pay to manage the asset, and then we can use that money to, for example, pay our an employee that we have. Okay, so that we can basically bring our taxable tax liability lower. Okay. Also, when we do these Airbnb trips and we're documenting our visits and getting information that we then apply, those are very reasonable business expenses because it's very hard to actually get firsthand Airbnb knowledge without actually going to these Airbnbs and having the experience. Much like if you were starting a restaurant, you would want to go to all the other high-performing restaurants in the area at your price point or of your style of food to see what the market is, see what the competition is doing, okay? So that's 1 month. And every summer since we've been doing this, starting 2 years ago, we've always gotten at least 1 full month booking for the summertime. And other times we're usually just booking out weekends or short spurts. For example, in the month of August, the nearby university, somebody's booking it up for a week because they're moving in their family. And we have other weekend bookings. So we're not going to have a full month long. This is just an example of one particular month, and the month to month income varies based on the time of year and various demands. But if we were to really rent it out every single day and not utilize it at all as a homestead, this is a very reasonable amount of rent that we could generate from just this one property. And so, yeah, it's a $2,000-3,000 a month. Our backup apartment costs us about $2,000 a month. And so basically from one property, we can basically offset all of our liability of rent and basically live for free. So if you get rid of your housing expense, which is for most people their biggest expense outside of taxes, then you're really minimizing the amount of cash out of pocket you need to live. And so you can actually end up saving a significant portion of your money. For example, if this pays for our house and my job pays for my car, those are the 2 biggest expenses that people usually have, or 2 of the biggest ones they have after paying tax. If you don't have to pay for those 2 things, your money can be invested at a very, very high proportion of your actual W-2 income. And that's one of the fastest ways to become financially independent, is to not have liabilities and to have assets that pay for your liabilities. So that's it for Montreal, episode number 6. Hopefully, I'll be able to continue doing short episodes while we're traveling. And if you, I also, on my blog on 39.6, I have started posting these episodes so that you can see them later and you can share them with other people. So please feel free to go back there and see other episodes that I have posted. And if you have any things you're interested in me covering, please send me a private message and I will try to work it in to a future episode. So long from Montreal, and have a fantastic evening.